reasons we're calling our friend Howie Carr in, but the column that Howie wrote yesterday in the Boston Herald, we need to talk about that first with him. Bay State Democrats launch war on men. Okay, Howie, what's going on up there?
Well, JD, you know the way the primary patterns are, especially in the modern Democratic Party. And here in Massachusetts, the estimates are that between 57 and 60% of the people, women, the voters in the primaries, which is 3 weeks from tomorrow, are going to be women. So the candidates are on the air, and they're all just tearing into men and talking about how they're going to protect women. And this one guy, he's a candidate for attorney general. He's running against a female lesbian prosecutor, and he mentioned the word women 7 times in 30 seconds, 7 times. And ironically, his name is Tolman. So many people have been suggesting that, if he's this much into women, he should change his name to Toll Woman or Toll Person. Anything but Toll Man.
I just want to get your take on this, and then we need to check in with our friend Ed Berliner. But here's the question I have for you. Elizabeth Warren, the rise of her prominence, winning the Senate seat, now the talk of the presidency, is it Elizabeth Warren's success that is prompting all this women-friendly talk?
I think so, JD. That she put it together. She kind of put together the for lack of a better term, the postmenopausal women who, we call them moonbats up here. They bring their knitting to public meetings. They don't wear makeup. They have their hair pulled back in a bun. These are the type of women that she mobilized. And she just made Scott Brown, who has 2 daughters and a lovely wife, just seemed like he was some kind of a Cro-Magnon man. And now Martha Coakley, the leading candidate for governor on the Democratic side, she says she's fighting the old boy network.
Well,
JD.
There you have it. That sounds like they're setting up. Howie, look, we're going to have you hang in. But right now, let's go to our Newsmax newsroom as Ed Berliner and his crew are working for today's midpoint coming up at noon. Ed, what you got going?
All right, JD, 2 big issues of the day, and we got them covered here. The police chief of Ferguson, Missouri, Tom Jackson, is scheduled to join us as we hear more about what's coming out of that town. Steve Coates is a good friend and confidant of Texas Governor Rick Perry. He's going to be here to basically give us his take on the felony indictment of the governor. Is the GOP really smart to use the border as a prime time issue when it comes down to the midterms? Critics, by the way, convinced that Barack Obama has been planning to lose the war in Iraq all along. And also on Telling It Like It Is, we have the words of one man who could and should be able to shut down the rioting and the problems in Ferguson, Missouri. That and a whole lot more coming up beginning at noon Eastern time, right here on Midpoint, guys.
Ed, you set that up in such a fashion that we call it in the business a tease, and you have done it capably here. We have got to be here with you at noon to find out your thoughts on who that indispensable man is who could solve the problem.
Good tease writing 101 runs with good hair, my friend.
And you have great hair, yes. Ed. Appreciate that, pal.
We'll see you at noon.
Not to mention what we also call a good set of pipes, a great voice. I'm still trying to get mine back, but we press on.
I'll be happy to give you 10% of mine anytime, really.
Well, we'll try to negotiate that a little bit later. Ed Berliner, we'll see you at noon, and we thank you for that update.
You got it.
So, you heard Howie Carr about a war on men. We'll talk more with Howie about matters political in Massachusetts and around the country next.